Hello, I'm Natalie Lindo and welcome to a Business Line special brought to you from Expo 2020 Dubai. Called the world's greatest show, the city will host an estimated 25 million visitors from around the world for 182 days. 8 months after originally planned, Expo 2020 Dubai has opened to the world under its theme of connecting minds, creating the future, marking the biggest global event on this scale to be held since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Expo 2020 Dubai is the 35th World Fair over the past 170 years. They're designed to showcase ideas, inventions and innovations that tackle the world's problems. It launched with a star-studded opening ceremony featuring the world-famous tenor Andrea Bocelli, singer-songwriter Ellie Goulding and Grammy Award winner Angelique Kidjo, who set the bar of what's to come.
No more broken promises, no more call to war. Oh, this is love and peace that we really fighting for.
The theme of Expo 2020 Dubai is connecting minds, creating the future. There are 192 countries taking part in the event, and over 25 million in-person visitors are anticipated over the next 6 months. The three overarching themes are sustainability, mobility and opportunity. Many events will be streamed live online, but Expo still officially expects to attract more visits than previous host Milan as the travel restrictions ease globally.
It's very important and it's very affected by COVID, of course. Very important because this is, at the end of the story, this is going to be the first real gathering of humankind directly, not digitally, not through TVs. It's being already a physical gathering of people from many diverse parts. And that means that we are starting not to be scared, we are ready to travel, we are ready to visit, and we are ready to experience and to share experiences with others.
Previous expos have launched discoveries, innovations and inventions that change the world. But its biggest role is still as a forum for trade and strengthening diplomatic relations, as many countries and companies look to the expo to boost trade and investment.
Here at our campus you can actually see what Germany is all about with regard to innovations and technology, but also with our cultural program. We have a culture lab at the heart of the pavilion that shows, dance and sports and music. So it shows so much more of the country than any other kind of marketing or whatever could.
As the first World Fair to be held in the Middle East, South Asia and Africa region, plans are ambitious. It's hoped it will bring the global community together to tackle challenges such as climate change, conflict and economic growth, and the programme has only just begun.
I was looking for a song to sing. I searched for a leader, but the leader was me. Out there.
The UK government is introducing temporary visas for 5,000 fuel tanker and food lorry drivers to work in the country amid growing concerns about deliveries of food and fuel. There have been long queues at petrol stations across the country after a shortage of drivers disrupted deliveries. The UK's pro-Brexit government is keen to downplay the claims that the driver shortage is a result of Britain's departure from the European Union. They argue it's a combination of factors.
The British government has extended an emergency visa programme for 5,000 truck drivers as fuel shortages continue across the country despite their assurances that petrol delivery concerns are easing.
You know what the government's done, yeah? They've put it out there, everybody's turned mad and now they're saying calm down. Do you know, my petrol's nearly finished. I've been going to different petrol stations trying to top up my petrol. What they should have done is kept their mouth shut.
Pro-Brexit cabinet officials are keen to downplay that the current driver shortage is a result of Britain's departure from the European Union. The coronavirus pandemic added to the problem and saw thousands of truck drivers leaving the UK to go back to their homes in the EU. But this has now led to a domestic increase in people training for their HGV licences, as employers have been forced to offer substantial pay rises to make the profession more attractive.
Over the last month or so, the pay has moved considerably. It's more or less doubled in some cases. But also with COVID, We've seen a big transition from other industries. So, for instance, we've had airline pilots, we've had barristers coming to do the HGV courses because they can see it as a sustainable employment.
Military are also now being deployed to help relieve the supply shortages in a move to ease pressure on the industry, which has resulted in long lines at petrol stations and empty pumps.
The United Arab Emirates has announced plans to launch 50 new economic initiatives to boost the country's competitiveness and attract 126 billion euros in foreign direct investment over the next 9 years. One initiative, the 10 by 10, aims to increase UAE exports by 10% annually to 10 global markets. Other projects include investing in technology and creating new visas for entrepreneurs and skilled workers, and a widening of familial sponsorships to attract and retain residents. Another will see the UAE and the Emirates Development Bank investing 1.1 billion euros in industrial technology and technology-heavy sectors.
EDB is here to help as a financing partner for a couple of these projects, but specifically there's two key initiatives that we're working on. One is 5 billion dirhams, which will be allocated into the market as financing for SMEs over the next 5 years to 2025, and they're UAE national SMEs. We're also looking at food security, manufacturing, healthcare, and infrastructure.
These were the initial announcements from the projects of the 50, a plan aimed at bolstering the UAE's economy. And there's more emerging in the coming weeks and months. A new data law was also unveiled by the Minister of State for Artificial Intelligence, Digital Economy and Remote Work.
We wanted to ensure that the digital economy and digital economy companies have a big incentive to come to the UAE and to call the UAE home. We also wanted to balance between the privacy aspect that we give individuals, and we care about individual freedoms and privacies, but we also want the private sector to be able to flourish and call the UAE home. We know that the landscape in the digital economy sphere is ever-changing. We know that there are new trends that are coming up. So we don't claim to always be at the forefront. We want to continuously strive to be the leaders in this space.
As the UAE celebrates its Golden Jubilee this December, the nation is successfully establishing an agenda for the next 50 years based on its continued development and opportunity. That's all we have time for in this edition of Business Line, but be sure to tune in again next time for a roundup of the biggest business and investment stories from around the globe. I'll see you then.